Hey guys, welcome to M&M Plants. Today I will be covering about this beautiful plant from the prayer plant family, the Tenanti Burley Maxi plant. And if we have a simple name as well for this plant, and that is fishbone prayer plant, obviously because of the texture of the leaf, it's like the fishbone, so that's why. But let's understand today about this plant in detail. I know prayer plants are one of those fussy plants, and not everyone they get their hands on this plant, but I've had this plant for a very long time, and I can vouch for this plant because this is one of those prayer plants which will not die easily if you take basic care of it. And let's understand today that why is it too difficult to have prayer plants in our family, in our life, and why do we kill them so easily, and why are they fussy, and all sorts of explanations. So let's get started. The first thing we all need to understand about prayer plants is especially let's talk about only this plant today, fishbone prayer plant. Where does it come from? They come from rainforest in Brazil. Now when we understand that what is the origin of the plant, it becomes very easy to understand their character, their behavior, their tendency and everything. So first things first, Brazil means warm and humid climate. Rainforest. When we say rainforest, it means these prayer plants, they grow under huge trees, big trees, in the shade of those trees. And in rainforest, obviously it rains throughout the year. So what are the things that we need to understand? If it is raining a lot, that means there is a lot of greenery, which means if there is a lot of greenery, the soil has to be rich in compost, because there will be a lot of leaves and plants in the soil. They just decay, and there is an organic compost, a lot of compost in the soil. So which means the soil is very rich in nutrients. So first things first, when we make soil for our prayer plants, we have to understand that it has to have a lot of organic compost. So what I do is I take like 50% potting mix, normal potting mix, and then the other 50% is a mixture of coco peat, because coco peat will help the roots to stay moist. If it is very cold, it will help the roots to stay warm, and if it is warm out there, it will help the roots to stay cold. So coco peat is very good. We can mix coco peat, organic compost, and I also mix some bone meal powder so that my soil is extremely rich in nutrients. So that is the first thing, soil. Second thing, when they are under huge trees, we have to understand what sort of light they might be getting. When there is a small plant under a huge tree, that means it's definitely not getting direct sunlight. So we cannot give our prayer plants, our Tenanti plants, direct sunlight. You have to give them bright indirect light. I would not recommend direct sun even for 5 minutes. It's not required for these plants. So that's the reason the concept of indoor plants came into picture. Otherwise there was no such concept of indoor plants. But the plants which grow under huge trees like ferns and the other plants in rainforest or any other places which do not need direct sunlight, they can be used as indoor plants, because inside your house you don't have direct sunlight. So you have to plant this at a place where it does not get direct sun throughout the day, no matter whatever season, but it should still get that bright indirect light. Now I don't like to keep my prayer plants at any window, because if it is touching the glass, or if it's getting that heat through the glass, or the cold thing through the glass, it's not good for them. That's a lot of change in the temperature. So bathroom is a good place, kitchen is a good place, but you have to make sure that your kitchen is not very dry because of the cooking and all that. Or you can keep it outside in your garden under a huge tree. I mean, just create this replica, I mean the mimic of the actual thing where this plant comes from. So I have done that. This prayer plant that you see, I have never kept it inside my house, never. It has always been outside my house, but the place where I keep it is under shade of a huge plant, so it does not get direct sun at all, and it is surrounded with I think 50-60 other plants, which means I have created a real forest like scenario, and it is getting that humid climate because of so many plants around this plant, and that shade, that bright indirect line. So this plant will definitely love it because it's getting the real the atmosphere that it needs to grow. Then the next thing we need to understand is moisture. Now, a lot of us, we confuse between keeping the plants moist and humid and overwatering. If my plant needs moisture, it does not mean I have to water it, because if I keep on watering it, it might result into overwatering. In forests, these plants are not grown in pot. They are grown directly in the ground. So the water has a lot of space to just spread. The water will not be locked around the roots. Hence, the plant will not die. However, in the pot, the water is there inside. So the roots are all the time surrounded with water, which will kill them because of overwatering. So if your plant is going brown and crispy, it is lack of humidity. If you have kept it inside your house, prefer keeping it in bathroom where there is a lot of humidity. If you have kept it outside the house, prefer keeping it around so many plants so that your plant stays humid all the time. Now also understand one thing, that when these plants are in rainforest and it's raining all the time, which means these plants, they get cleaned all the time, because if it's raining every now and then and they get that filtered water on them from the trees, that drop by drop, which means their leaves are always clean, and that's the reason they're happy there as well. So you have to make sure that you keep your plants clean as well. Either it can be through wiping it off, or it can be spraying your plant, doesn't matter. The method has to be something that is convenient to you. But what I do is, because my plant is outside my house, as I said, along with many other plants, I just give it a quick mist and spray and all that with a pipe or anything. But I will make sure that this plant is always clean like any other plant. So we have to be careful of the soil rich in nutrients. We have to be careful of the correct light, correct positioning of the plant, humidity, moist and humid climate. And now comes the most important part that we all struggle with, and that is watering. Whenever it comes to watering, first thing that I would do is I would check the soil like this. At least 1 inch. I can feel this soil is wet. I'm definitely not watering it for the first inch of soil. If I feel the first inch of soil is dry, and I literally mean dry, only then I will water it thoroughly from all the sides till the water starts coming out, and I'll let the water flow out. Only then I'll put it wherever I have to put it. So please make sure you understand the difference between keeping the plant moist and overwatering it and watering it. If we keep these things in mind, keeping Tenanti prayer plants will not be a difficult thing, and you can start by keeping this plant, because this plant is a little less fussy compared to other Tenanti plants. So this should be a good start. I hope I've answered all your questions regarding prayer plant. If there is any pest attack, the best thing is to get some organic insecticide from your nearest garden center. Spray it. I've been lucky, I have never had pest attack on this plant, and I hope that it never gets it. But it's a beautiful plant. Look at the color, this maroon color at the back side, green color, 2 shades. Beautiful plant, an indoor plant, I would say. Keep it outside if you are struggling it inside, to keep it inside. Keep it outside under shade, huge tree or plants, and give it that atmosphere that it needs, as a rainforest atmosphere if possible, and you'll definitely be proud of your prayer plants. With that, I'll take your leave and see you next time with another video. Bye for now.